Well, god damn it. I can't believe CJAX don't like Money in the Bank. I thought it was pretty okay. You know what I mean? And the fact that R-Truth came out and Jacob Fatu turned on Solo. I'm just shocked that he doesn't like it. But let's hear him out and see where it goes from here.
Well, Money in the Bank is officially over, and this show was absolute lifeless garbage. Okay, now we're gonna just jump right into it after I get through this, because first off, I do want to say thank you to all of the 50 billion sponsors that were on this show. So I want to shout out my guys, Dude Wipes. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you wipe up. You know, we got Morgan and Morgan, we got Riyadh Season, we got Prime, we got Hulk Hogan's American Beer, we got Elden Ring, we got Cricket 5G Wireless. Make sure you got the 5G. Get your bars up, dude. We got Snickers. Shout out. Hey man, you're gonna do better with the Snickers, dude. We got a 7-Eleven. We got Slim Jim. Slap into a Slim Jim, bro. Then we also got Wheatley, so good I drink it neatly. And we got a bad show because Triple H sucks.
Hey, for that's so disrespectful, bro.
Goodness gracious, man. This is the bottom line, right? Money in the Bank, this year's Money in the Bank was absolute garbage. Last year's Money in the Bank was awful, obviously, and this show somehow managed to be as bad, if not worse. The thing is that you have to think about this in simplest terms. Number one, no one is going to rewatch anything that took place tonight at Money in the Bank. That is how you know, number one, that this is not a premium event. It's not eventful if no one cares about it. Number two, look at the crowd. When you look at the opening show and they were showing all the, the 360 panning of the camera, you can literally see this is the same place they had Raw on Netflix earlier this year, the premiere episode of that, where it sold out. You know what I'm saying? There were 6 million global viewers. Now, like I've been saying for weeks, the viewership is now struggling to get 2.8 million globally consistently for Raw. And as you see, they visited the same place they started on Netflix, and now look where they're at now. You're missing thousands of seats in that arena just empty.
You know, I am so glad that he mentioned that, because I was just saying, like, in the live stream, I was just like, what the hell? Ain't nobody filling up the seats. And they didn't start filling up the seats until we had the men's ladder match. And I was just like, damn. So that's the only time we get to see people sit down is when the men come on. But when the women come on, it's like, I'll just go get me a little popcorn and a little drink and a little hot dog, and I'm just gonna chill in the, in the lobby until, till Seth Rollins and LA Knight come out, and I'm like, damn. So you don't want to stay to watch Becky Lynch versus Lyra or Dominik Mysterio, or even though that, he's a guy, at least Liv Morgan's out there. Don't you want to see Liv Morgan? Huh? I mean, shoot. And then, of course, you don't want to see the women's ladder match. Are you serious? You don't want to see Rhea Ripley. You don't want to see Alexa Bliss. You don't want to see, Stephanie Valkyria. You don't want to see Naomi, and you don't want to see Roxanne. Okay. Because I understand you don't want to see Julia, because you probably don't, you don't remember the NXT version of her before she started losing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, like, you don't want to see the women? Damn. You guys suck. I can't believe you gonna ignore the women like that, bro. Y'all some hoes, man. Yeah. Hey, listen. I'm gonna be honest with you. Even though the women matches were mid, I mean, how can I sit here and say that the men's matches were mid too? The whole PLE was mid. You know what I'm saying? It's not just the women, it's the man too. You know what I mean? The only thing good about tonight was that R-Truth is back and Jacob, betrayed Solo. And yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, Naomi winning, the briefcase, that's good. You know what I mean? So it's like, what's the problem? Like, what's your problem, man? What's your problem? You know what I mean? Yeah, man, I hate that CJAX don't like the PLE, but again, we're going to get his explanation, so let's continue with the video.
We have more green dots in the arena than seats. That's how embarrassing this is. Seats filled, obviously, right?
You motherfucking right.
So it's an absolute joke. The numbers show it. The stats show it. This product is garbage. And amidst their easily being able to tell from the fan base that there's clearly not 17,000 sold out. We saw what that looked like on Raw on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Amidst that happening, Michael Cole on the commentary continues to spew nonsense about 17K sold out, Pat. Or we're yeeting. Yeah, hope he yeets all over the place. Shut up, man. You know what I'm saying? Just shut up at this point. Stop lying. There's clearly not 17K. Stop the cap. This is a Money in the Bank show that has 5 matches on the card. This is embarrassing. Why in the world? By the way, we have to talk about this. R-Truth obviously returned, quote unquote, at this show. I'm very glad to have been one of the people that actually sat there, and I have recorded footage. You guys can go see the video I did last week, the videos, I should say. I said that R-Truth will likely be back. He will likely return and play a role in the future of Cena's storyline in the rest of this retirement tour. And lo and behold, not even 6 days later since he was, quote unquote, released, he came back. But my question is, if you dupe the audience that bad, quote unquote, you know what I'm saying? Because you know Triple H is going to brag about this and say, I'm the gamer, I'm the fiend. I tricked you guys. Does it feel like SummerSlam season now? Like he did for Mania season. He's like, man, does it feel like Mania season now after Rock and, Cena did the whole heel turn thing at Elimination Chamber? And then Mania season from that point on got drastically even worse, and Mania 41 was abysmal. It was garbage. And guess where we're going for Mania 42? Back to Vegas, which means back to garbage. But the fact is, if you're going to dupe the audience like this and make us think that R-Truth, make most people think that R-Truth left the company, okay, why in the world would you bring him back to help Dr. Libations pin a 50-year-old John Cena in his retirement tour in a meaningless tag match? Save R-Truth for SummerSlam so that maybe John Cena loses to one of the winners of the King of the Ring, like if LA Knight wins or something like that, and then LA Knight beats Cena due to the help of R-Truth or something. Make it creative, make it interesting. Don't waste a story that could have been potentially great by having him come back to win a meaningless tag match. This is embarrassing and everyone knows this, man. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into this actual show because this was an absolute and utter disaster. Number one, we had the women's Money in the Bank match. This was an absolute monstrosity of garbage. There's no actual reason why anybody, and I mean anybody, should be giving this match above maybe a 5 out of 10, if that, or a 4. This is embarrassing. This match was maybe 30 to 40 minutes long, minimum. It felt like an hour, but it was really like 35 to 40 minutes long, realistically, probably. It was like 30 to 40, somewhere in that range, okay? Out of a 40-minute match, I only remember maybe 1 to 2 spots that took place the whole match that were actually any good or anywhere near mildly entertaining. And like I've been saying, this is unacceptable. This is a 40-minute match with supposedly some of the best women's wrestlers on the planet right now, and you mean to tell me that in a 40-minute match, you only gave us 1 to 2 memorable spots? Are you serious? They weren't even memorable spots. They were just okay spots. The double code reds on the ladder, and the spot where, where I think Alexa Bliss hit her finisher and Rhea Ripley hit her finisher. That's not even a spot. They had one memorable spot in this entire match. Everything else was just botches, lifeless crowd because there wasn't even that many people in the crowd to begin with. They're missing thousands of seats. The arena felt very empty. Crowd was mid. Then you also have the fact that nothing really happened. There's nothing memorable about this match. Nobody's going back to rewatch any of this crap. If you compare this to the women's Money in the Bank match we had last year, which was absolutely amazing. You had great action with Io Sky. Memorable spots like Tiffany Stratton hitting her swanton, you know what I'm saying? I think it was off the ladder, off the top rope. You had Chelsea Green going through 2 tables, Io Sky hitting her what move was it that she hit? I think it was like a hurricane run on the ladder to Zoe Stark, and Zoe Stark like kind of spiked her head on the ladder. It was crazy. That match was awesome with multiple memorable spots, and I don't even remember some of that match, you know what I'm saying? And that match was 10 times better than what we got here with allegedly the greatest women's wrestlers on the planet. So this is not acceptable, man. I'm not accepting this garbage. We had the Goon Mania move where we got this is basically Goon WrestleMania for all the Rhea Ripley, you know what I'm saying, stans or fans, whatever you want to call them, and the Stephanie Valkyria Glazers at this point. You had the move where she did the oh yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? She did that. And then we got the NSYNC finishers, where they were basically 2 women in the match would just do their finishers at the same time, and the crowd chants, "This is awesome! This is awesome!" Stop! The pander popping in the crowd needs to stop. Why is it that anytime in any type of multi-man or multi-woman match, 2 people can just stare at each other 5 times, and then it just pauses, awkward silence, and the crowd just starts going, "Oh yeah, this is awesome!" Like, stop! It's a face-off. They're in the ring together. Obviously, they're going to face off. Why are we popping for this multiple times? It goes to show you the bot state of the fans. At the end of the day, Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss were like the 2 people left standing in this match near the end of it, and they kind of have a face-off with each other after they hit their respective finishers. And as this happens, we basically got they went up on the ladder to try and fight for the Money in the Bank briefcase. Naomi pushes them both off. They land into a ladder, and Naomi basically climbs up the ladder and ends up getting the W. So she wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. This match had the rightful winner, so I won't consider it the worst match ever. But as a woman's Money in the Bank match, it is one of the worst ever, like easily. It's not even remotely close. The one we got last year was 10 times better than than this, but at least this had a good winner. Just like last year's had the right winner and the year before that with Io had the right winner, but still, this match was really bad. It had a good winner, and hopefully Naomi can do some great things with that briefcase. I think it works for her character, and I think she's going to turn it into something special. But other than the actual winner of the match, this match was very, very forgettable in my opinion, and it had one good spot in 40 minutes. That is embarrassing.
I mean, I did wonder why the match went by so quick, but I had to look at the time and then say, well, we got other matches we need to get to. So obviously they're going to get quick with that. And so, hey, at least Naomi won. So I'm glad the predicted winner won. So, yeah, hopefully Naomi will cash it in on Tiffany Stratton. And, you know, Tiffany better be careful, you know what I'm saying, and proceed with caution because Naomi is coming. So, yeah. Keep holding the title as long as you proceed with caution.
Then we followed this match up with the succubus of this show, which just sucked all the energy out of the arena if there was even any left, okay? We had Dominik Mysterio thrown together in a match versus some guy named Eduardo. Why are we doing a Dominik Mysterio, who, by the way, I forgot Dominik Mysterio was even Intercontinental Champion until today when he showed up on this PLE and fought this jobber. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't even remember that this dude is IC champ because the belt in the mid-card as a whole in Raw is booked into oblivion. Nobody remembers who even is champ anymore. That's how bad the booking is. So Dominik Mysterio comes out, you know, the crowd's lifeless. He fights Eduardo and wins the match. There's nothing to say about this. This is a thrown-together match. The reason why the crowd can't connect with anyone anymore is because these champions are booked into oblivion, man. Anytime WWE needs an extra match to throw out on their 4 or 5 match card PLEs, they just throw the IC belt or the US title in it. That's what makes these championships feel irrelevant and the person holding them feel irrelevant. Dominik Mysterio has had one of the worst Intercontinental Championship reigns of all time.
And he keeps saying he's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
It was even worse than Jey Uso's, which was only like 2 or 3 weeks. You know, this is everything wrong with PLEs. They need some, you know, to fill out the 5 match card, which is just embarrassing that it's only 5 matches on these shows. They're supposed to be premium, but we're getting 5 matches. But anyways, doesn't matter. We get this effortless, lifeless slop thrown out on the card to fill out a quota. That's embarrassing, man. And it's really sad that Triple H is even doing this nonsense, but it is what it is.
Well, let me say this, man. Even though I don't like the fact that he invited Liv Morgan to his match, I am glad that he was able to defend his title. So now he has, I believe, 3 defenses for the title. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he will defend his title at Night of Champions and Saturday Night Main Event and, you know, of course, SummerSlam. So we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully he'll get to defend his title a little bit some more so that way he can fill his title reign. Hopefully he can face Sheamus or AJ Styles, you know. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, hey, if he can do it by himself, that would be great, you know, because it could build his character a little bit more. But shout out to Worlds Collide for allowing him to speak on the mic. I mean, that's good. I just hope they'll be able to do it, you know, anywhere else, you know. It's a start, so hopefully we can see him talk anywhere else, you know? So, we'll see. But yeah, congratulations, bro. But, you know, what's next time? Next time you get in the match and you defend your title, do it without Liv Morgan, please. All right? Because she didn't really do nothing but just run her mouth. That's it. So, yeah, next time do it independently, bro. Like last time on WrestleMania.
Then we get to the next match, which we don't need to waste much time on. Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. The match they had at Backlash was noticeably much better than this match, and this match as a whole doesn't matter. I don't care that Lyra Valkyria lost the belt. I don't care that Becky Lynch has the belt. It does not matter to me at all until I see a genuinely engaging feud, a great storyline, and a great match to top it off at a actual prominent PLE. I am not caring about this Intercontinental Championship at all. It's the same thing for the men's division. Until I see that happen with Dominik, I don't care about his reign. I don't care at all. I really don't. So Lyra Valkyria ends up winning off or loses off of a roll up. So Becky Lynch is the new Intercontinental Champion. But this match was also awful. The reason why is because I was on my phone half the time because I was that bored. I couldn't even hear anything in the crowd. That's how I know nobody cared. You know what I'm saying? They're probably on their phones too. But then I actually tuned in. Obviously, I saw most of this match legitimately. And all of the no selling from the super finishers is just stupid. How is Lyra Valkyria taking a manhandle slam from one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time, takes a manhandle slam off of the top top turnbuckle or off of the second turnbuckle, right? Then gets rolled out of the ring, takes a manhandle slam on the outside, and 3 seconds later is up hitting her finisher on Becky Lynch. You're no-selling finishers. You're an Intercontinental Champion. You're not a World Champion. You're an IC Champion. So why are you no-selling super finishers? It's just embarrassing, man. And then when they did the count-out spot in this match, if you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. It was so bad. They're both knocked out outside after taking each other's finishers. Lyra took 2 or 3 of the super finishers. You know what I'm saying? And then, what's her name? Becky Lynch took Lyra's finisher once. They're both knocked out until the count of 9. Then randomly at the count of 8, 9, then all of a sudden when it gets to 9, they both just randomly, get up and roll into the ring.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Really? It's cheesy, it's corny, and it's poorly booked, and everyone knows it. I've never been cheering so bad for a roll-up victory because I just wanted this match to end. It was that boring and that lifeless, and it had zero reason to be watched.
Well, I disagree with you, CJAX. I thought this match was pretty good. It was better than Backlash, than if you ask me. But hopefully Lyra will go in the tournament so that way when she wins Queen of the Ring, she will face Io Sky for the title at SummerSlam. As for Becky, well, just know Nikki Bella coming back, and if she comes after that title, makes sense. So, yeah, we'll see about that.
Now, we move on from this and we get into the men's Money in the Bank match. This match was also incredibly boring and it does not matter. Do you guys remember a few weeks ago when Paul Heyman was offering Sami Zayn a WWE Championship match if he went over to SmackDown and left Seth Rollins' faction alone? You remember that, right? Now, why is it that Seth Rollins couldn't get offered that opportunity? Huh? Didn't Heyman just turn on his own best friend and CM Punk and his own tribal chief and Roman Reigns to help Seth Rollins? But he won't even give Seth Rollins a title shot for free, but he'll give it to Sami Zayn, who is a jobber. That means that Seth Rollins being in this match makes no sense. Heyman could have just given him a title shot weeks ago. It is absolutely a joke at this point. It's a joke. We have no reasoning for why Heyman still chose to side with Rollins over Punk and what's his name, and Roman. If you didn't like Punk and Roman, why not go be with Jey Uso? You're just working with Jey Uso for years. Jey Uso actually had a world title. Why are you working with someone who's the arch nemesis of your old friends to help win a title with someone who you already worked with Jey Uso? You get what I mean? This is just a stupid story. And Braun Breaker, who last year, remember all the time, even leading up until this year when he lost the IC belts, Michael Cole and commentary and everyone would always be like, man, Braun Breaker's the future. He's going to be a legend of this industry, man. He's got such a bright future. Well, how is his future going to continue to stay bright when he has no lines of dialogue? He never cuts promos. He comes out to only be a mindless hive mind bot dummy guy to help Seth Rollins beat people up. How does that help Braun Breaker's career? How? It stunts his growth, and everyone knows this, and we see it. This whole faction is a disaster. Anything associated with this just becomes infinitely worse. We're seeing this why the viewership now drops. Every single time Seth is given the chance to be the top person on his show or have a top belt or anything, it never works out. The world title reign he just had was pretty mediocre at best. You also had the fact that when he had the Universal title in 2019, it did not work out. It was very bad. Viewership was tanking. Now look, Raw on Netflix is having some of the worst viewership it's had since moving to Netflix. The numbers are showing you everything. If Seth Rollins actually started this new faction and viewership was going up 1 or 2 million, then I wouldn't be saying these things. But obviously, I don't enjoy this stuff. I think this faction sucks, and obviously most people obviously think it sucks as well, and they're not interested in it. Now, as for this actual match itself, this match was pretty boring. Solo Sikoa, though, I thought was great in this match. His facial expressions, his humor, and him doing everybody else's gimmick and hand signals, I thought was great, okay? But the fact is that this roster of competitors in this match sucks, and I will still stand on the hill of the fact that Carmelo Hayes 100% should have been in this match over Andrade. They put Andrade and Penta in this match to make give us some of the best spots possible, I guess, for the match. But the thing is, most of this stuff, the first 60% of this match was forgettable nonsense. The whole match was pretty much forgettable, but all the first 60 to 70% of this match was boring and forgettable trash. Can you even remember what happened in the first 20 minutes of this 50-minute match? No one knows. You know what I'm saying? It's embarrassing. Another 50 to 40-minute match that has 1 or 2 memorable spots. I will give it to it. The creativity here with Chad Gable getting launched onto a ladder, then using that ladder to launch into the ring on the main ladder that has a logo sponsorship on it for Fireball, because this show is Fireball, which you got the Fireball on the ladder because we got Fireball and 50 ads. Now, We had Chad Gable launch into the ladder, and that was a good spot. He then headbutted Penta, I think it was, and then I think LA Knight came up there and hit him with like a side slam all the way off the top of the ladder. That was a great sequence, and it was entertaining. Then Jacob Fatu came out, and he was beating people up. You know, Braun Breaker and them came out and were spearing people. Jeffrey Cobb, you know what I'm saying? Jefferson Cobb came out there and got speared through a barricade by Braun Breaker. Isn't this guy supposed to be a big enforcer? Why is he already getting knocked out within a week of showing up or 2 weeks of showing up? But anyways, doesn't matter. Then we move on from this, okay? After this takes place, we then get to see Jacob Fatu officially turns face, even though he's already been treated like a face by the company and by fans for weeks now. He officially turns face and turns on Solo Sikoa and says, "I hate you know what I'm saying?" And then he hits a super kick, pulls Solo off the ladder. Solo's facial expressions during this were pretty funny the whole time. And then he basically slams Solo through the ladder, and basically Solo's just taken out of the match completely. Then after this, LA Knight goes back in. You think he's about to win. Obviously, we all knew that LA Knight was not going to win this match. I said this last night on my SmackDown review. I knew LA Knight was not going to win this match. Obviously, I wanted him to, but I knew he was not going to. And this brings me to an important point. I don't think that this is necessarily a bad thing if LA Knight wins the King of the Ring tournaments and then ends up earning a world championship shot regardless. If they do that, I'm fine with him not winning this Money in the Bank briefcase, quite frankly. However, the fact that he didn't win this is still kind of a bummer because, I mean, it's LA Knight, man. He's done so much great things. Why are we giving Seth Rollins, who's in his 40s, the Money in the Bank briefcase that he had a decade ago? He had it when he was 30, and now he has it when he was 40. This goes to show you the status of Seth Rollins' career. You know, you don't have anyone like a Roman Reigns is winning Money in the Bank at this stage in his career. CM Punk is not winning a Money in the Bank at this stage of his career. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't happen. If you're really an all-time great guy, you're not going to be winning Money in the Banks in your 40s. That doesn't make any sense. Unless I'm mistaking someone and I miss someone who may have won in their 40s, but whatever. Seth Rollins ends up, curb stomping LA Knight basically after hitting a couple moves against each other. He curb stomps him, and then what's his name? Seth Rollins goes up and wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. There's not much to say about this. I don't care.
Okay, I just want to stop the video real quick to let y'all know that Raquel got some new merch for the summer, dog. And it's black and gold. It's going down for real. Now, the price is not right, but hey, the shipping is free with the code on the bottom. So you already know, if you got an extra 40, go ahead and cop this merch. Because this merch is on fire. And this girl is on fire. Raquel is off the scale with this merch, dog. And also the link is going to be on the bio, so you already know. Let's get back to the video. Raquelio!
This match was largely forgettable besides that one little sequence with El Grande Americano, Penta, and LA Knight. Outside of that, there was nothing to speak of here. Last year's men's Money in the Bank match was likely probably as the same quality as this, if not a little bit better. So it is what it is. I'm not going to give anything. I'm not going to call anything good if what I just got the previous year was better than this. That's just not acceptable. You're supposed to be topping yourself. You know, this is the best the roster's ever been. Fina, the product of business is booming. Like, stop. Clearly, business ain't booming if Triple H might potentially get fired within the next year and a half, so we'll see about that.
Yeah, a lot of people are disappointed with this decision. I don't know why Triple H had to make this decision, but I understand it's for the plot, but the plot sucks, okay? And the fact that LA Knight wasn't able to win this, I mean, yeah, hopefully he'll register in the King of the Ring so that way he can get a title shot against John Cena for the title, or R-Truth if he, go after it, but we'll see. But damn, I don't know what LA Knight gonna do, man. I hope he wins the tournament so that way he can get a title shot. I really hope. Otherwise, it's pretty much over for him, Okay, let's get back to the video.
Then we get to the main event. This was absolutely pointless and no one cared about it. And it is worth noting that honestly in this match, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, Logan Paul, and Jey Uso to an extent all looked very tired. And I guess not Logan Paul, because Logan Paul's just an amazing athlete. You know what I'm saying? He's got a bunch of energy. Cody kind of had some energy too when he was wrestling. But when they're just like sitting around, even in the entrances, the energy of them just kind of felt off. Like Cody Rhodes looked so unenthusiastic and uninterested in what he's doing. And the crowd was kind of going mild for him and Jay as the match went on. Maybe the crowd was tired of the mediocrity and garbage they had been getting for 2 or 3 hours at that point, but it just kind of felt like no one's really interested in the storyline, and they're not really putting their best effort forward because they don't care. I feel like Cody Rhodes now for a long time, dating back to last summer when he started doing the stuff with Solo and the Bloodline, and the meaningless tag matches and the meaningless title defenses that we knew he was going to win. Cody Rhodes' career has been in bad limbo, man, and we just have to address it the way that it is. Obviously, I've been saying for months at this point, his WWE Championship reign was one of, if not the worst of all time. However, this current state of his career where he's just been booking monotony at this point, he's doing nothing of meaning, is making the crowd tune this guy out and not really care about him. At least that's what I feel about him. I don't think the crowd really cares about this dude anymore. If he ever wins a world title again, I don't think people care if he does or not, to be honest. Unless he turns heel and sides with The Rock or something, I don't think anyone cares if this dude wins anything ever again. And that's just because his booking is bad, and Cody Rhodes has given us no reason to care about anything he's doing because he's just very boring. You know what I'm saying? Once a jobber, always a jobber. You know, it is what it is. I genuinely tuned out. I can't remember anything that happened in this match besides the last 5 minutes, so we'll just basically cut to that. Basically, Jey Uso, the whole match, from what I remember at least, was just getting held in the corner. Logan Paul and Cena then had some tension, and they kind of had an issue. It caused Jey to get the tag to Cody, and then it became boring and lifeless. Cody hit his moves, whatever, hit his libation cutter, and his libation kick, and his libation Rhodes, and all that stuff. Jey Uso then got, Logan Paul did a really good springboard moonsault on Jey Uso through the announcer's table, which the announcer's tables are now jacked and packed and stacked up with a bunch of vibranium, it looks like, on the table. You know, they're hard to break. So that's that. That was probably the only memorable spot of the match. And then John Cena uses his championship to hit Cody Rhodes. And then R-Truth officially, quote unquote, returns and costs John Cena this match by brawling with him for a second, and then he hits him with the belts. I will give Triple H credit because he fooled most of the you know, saying most of the fan base, you know, making them think that R-Truth actually was going to be gone for good. Obviously, myself, I predicted that R-Truth would be back probably by SummerSlam at the latest. However, he came back. It is what it is. Like I said before, R-Truth should have been used for something bigger than this. Why is he coming back to help Dr. Libations pin John Cena in a meaningless tag match that furthers nothing? You know what I mean? It's not acceptable. If you're going to dupe the fans like this and trick them, use R-Truth to help somebody else beat Cena for the title. Get the ultimate comeback against Cena. Don't come back to do this nonsense garbage, you know? So it's clear that R-Truth will probably play a role in Cena potentially becoming face again, but you know what? We just got to sit back and hope for the best. You know what I'm saying at this point? This Cena heel run has been atrocious. The show has been absolute garbage, and quite frankly, I don't really know what else to say about this garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, who cares about this? You know, let's be real with ourselves. John Cena got pinned by Cody Rhodes, so what? There were multiple botches. You know, you had this new tension with Logan Paul and Cena. Like, this match didn't do anything for anybody. It didn't further Logan Paul's story. It didn't further Jey Uso's story. It didn't further anything for Cody Rhodes, really, besides him maybe getting another rematch, which he already was going to get. You know, so it is what it is. I don't know why Roman couldn't get a rematch for the WWE title after he returned, after having it for 4 years. Anyways, it is what it is. This main event was largely forgettable. The men's Money in the Bank match was largely forgettable and pretty bad at parts. The Lyra and Becky match and then the Dominik versus Eduardo match were both forgettable pieces of garbage that could have been put on Raw. You know, those aren't premium level event matches. They're just not that. So it is what it is. And the women's Money in the Bank match was largely below mid. You know, it was pretty bad, let's be honest with ourselves. So if you only have 5 matches on the card and all of them were bad respectively, how can I give this show anything above a 2 out of 10? And the answer is I'm not going to. This show is going to get a 2 out of 10 for me in my personal opinion, and it's all backed by what we just saw in the ring tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about Money in the Bank and the quality of it and how it was booked and the overall enjoyment you had of the show as a whole. And I thank you guys for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out and one love.
Well, I don't know. I think tonight was pretty good. You know what I mean? Now, I mean, we can agree or disagree on that one, but, you know, Money in the Bank wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? And me personally, I'm glad that Naomi won. I'm glad that, you know, glad that Becky get to be, you know, have her first ever Intercontinental Championship. So my subscribers are happy with it. Only thing we're not happy about is Seth Rollins winning the Money in the Bank. I don't know. Hopefully they can override it just like they did with Liv Morgan and Becky and Lyra tag team match. But, I mean, if we got this tournament, I mean, LA Knight can register for that and hopefully he can, you know, be the last man standing and hopefully he'll become the king of the ring and get a title shot against John Cena. Or Jey Uso, you know. I really love it if we can get LA Knight versus Seth Rollins if he ever cash in the Money in the Bank on Jey Uso, you know. Maybe we could transfer him to Raw. I think that would be good for business. And everything else I really don't care about. I mean, hey, Drew coming back. I mean, I want to know how his contract looking. I mean, did he renegotiate? Did Is he signed fully? Is he full time now? And I just hope that we'll see him on this Friday on SmackDown. Next Friday. Yeah. So, yeah. Get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you're new. Every other match I don't care about. But y'all comment down below. I mean, what do you guys think about Money in the Bank? Was it good? Or was it mid? Was it bad? Let me know down below, okay? I'm out.